All right, we are live. My name is TJ Gamble, and you are watching the eCommerceaholic Friday live show. We typically call it the Beer and E-commerce, but nobody's been drinking beer lately, so we got to figure out a new name for this thing. But today I'm going to be talking with the Deity PWA team, Progressive Web Apps. I'm going to be drinking a little bit of Maker's Mark here I brought from my home stash. So go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hey guys, I'm Jamie. Jamie Maria, actually, to be complete. I'm the director of Deity, and today I will answer all your questions you might have about our project.
So my name is Michał, and I'm in Deity. I'm a lead developer. I was running last 7 years Magento agency and doing the JavaScript contracts at the same time. And now I'm with Deity, trying to get JavaScript into Magento the right way.
The right way, okay. Yeah. So what is the right way? We gotta unpack that one a little bit.
So it's I was working with modern solutions in JavaScript, doing contracts, not really for e-commerce websites last few years. And yeah, I just thought that this is like right moment to get it into Magento, to e-commerce websites, as SEO is no longer an issue, so you can just use all the new things without worrying about SEO, about page speed. So it's even helping, as you may heard before from Google. Yeah, so here I am.
Okay. So Deity's been at it a while, right? I mean, how long have you guys been working on this project?
Well, basically, we've been working on the project for several years already. We're basically a combination of a few e-commerce experts. So we have our front-end part, which started as a headless project about 2.5 years ago, something like that. Michał, is that correct?
Yeah, around 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years ago. So this was the front end, but then at some point we saw really, hey guys, this is getting big. You know, we had a lot of people asking us to build the front end for them, and we thought, let's make this into a product. At that point, also PWA showed up, and from just headless, we moved to the PWA solution. And then we teamed up with an expert team here in the Netherlands who were experts in e-commerce for several years already. And with that, I'm talking about really long time. They built the first Magento shop for Zalando. And they were building a server architecture, which basically headless front end is also service-oriented architecture. So we decided to team up and make a great product together. So Deity itself just exists for a few months. But the team behind it and all of us together, we're a very long time in the game.
So if you've been working on it before it was a PWA, I mean, you were doing headless Magento before it was cool, right? Like what were you trying to do with the project if you were doing it before PWA was such a hot topic?
Well, basically, I think if you cut it down, I think basically the way that we were struggling with the Magento 2 front ends, and not only the Magento 2, but front ends in general. We had a customer coming up who wanted to do content-driven web shop, and for that, I mean, you cannot do good content, really content in Magento is not the best solution, but you don't want to do either web shops in WordPress. So this is basically when we decided, hey, what if we make the front end headless? Michał came up with a great idea to let's then do it fully in JavaScript. And let's start building this solution. So both Magento, both WordPress together running with a headless front end on top of it.
Okay. So were you making the decision to go with React, which is, one of the JavaScript framework, or the JavaScript framework that you've built in? You made that decision to go with React and build a PWA before the PWA Studio was announced? Or did what Magento's doing play into your decision-making process?
No,
I can get that, Jamie, I think. So
Sure.
First thing is that React is not a framework. That's different than Vue. So it's just a tiny library. And the concept is basically the same in Vue. So it's not really, that's not the decision. Decision is to go to Shadow DOM, to reactive programming, and not really Vue versus React. And we decided like 2 years ago, because Vue was just starting over there, and Vue actually originated in China. So basically, the whole community was speaking this Chinese, So at the time, that wasn't really a choice to be made, I would say. Yeah, but we are not really regretting this. I mean, it's React community is really big. Still, it's much bigger than Vue one.
So you went with the only option that made sense at the time, and it turns out it was the right decision.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine with going with Vue as well. I think it's just a matter of choice, basically, because the concepts are the same. It's not like jQuery versus Knockout. It's not really that
Okay.
kind of decision you have to make.
So feel free to ask questions if you're watching this live stream. Post them in the chat. I will make sure we get all of your questions addressed. So you guys ask a lot better questions than I do. So participate here. Give us something. I need free content. Give it to me.
Okay, I can see the Andrew.
Andrew is asking if we have drinks. Yes, we have drinks.
Oh, y'all didn't. You didn't see. They're rookies. They did not announce their drinks. I'm sorry. That's my fault. I take responsibility. Y'all go ahead. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a red wine. I don't even know which one. I'm just drinking red wine, and it's very nice.
Yeah, I just asked for a single malt whiskey. I wanted the US one, but it's all just Scotch or Irish at the liquor store near me, so it's just some Scotch.
So we're drinking
a bottle behind me.
A nameless wine and a nameless Scotch.
Yeah, you can say that.
Did either of them come in a box?
Y'all
don't get boxed wine. Like the cheap wines over here are boxed wines.
Oh, no. They're not a bottle. It's a bottle with a cork. So it's an actual cork.
Jamie has a nice collection of whiskeys in the background there that are just for decoration.
Yes, because I don't drink them.
That's a shame. That's a
But
shame.
yeah,
I feel like they're going to waste. I feel like they're not being utilized fully.
No problem. I will just visit the office. Yeah, in April I will just make it right. No worries.
So the one question I did get on Twitter from Mike McCoy is he asked, what's the difference other than the JavaScript? What's the difference between your offering and the Vue storefront or Vue? Am I mispronouncing it? Because I'm terrible with online pronunciation. I'm terrible with pronunciations in general. Michal, I think you called it Vue there a couple of times, and I'm just trying to.
Yes,
am I sounded stupid or?
I don't think there's a one right rule about this, so I don't think it's really big deal. Yeah.
Man, I thought we were going to actually solve something here today.
Yeah, just make sure that it's Deity, then it's fine.
Okay.
Deity, yeah.
So what's the difference like between your offering and we had them on a few weeks ago, talking about their solution, and there's a lot of confusion right now around progressive web apps and what PWA Studio is and isn't going to be, and some of the offerings out there, and people are just starting to dip their toes into it and try to figure out what works for them and what doesn't. And so this is a common question I hear, like what's the difference? There's something that I really need to understand when weighing these two options to determine which one is right for me to start experimenting with.
Okay, I should take it. I mean,
yeah, you can.
Y'all just talk over the top of each other. Doesn't matter, right? Let's just go.
Yeah, we can do that.
We're very good at that.
So there are many technical architecture differences, choices being made. So it's completely different solutions, and it's cool, I think. So for example, Vue Storefront has this Elasticsearch middleware that is actually holding data for you. We don't have that. So we prefer to work directly with Magento, WordPress, you name it. So it's a little bit different approach. We are not really into the offline mode, honestly, because I think it's too soon to really work on that, because there are many issues with it, and you can run into the situation that you want to make things better for the user, but then it's not really working, and then people are stuck on not working websites. So I think also that's maybe, yeah, being honest with you, we have a web shop that is live a year now. Okay, it went through Black Friday. Okay, we have big sales on it. We have advertisements on it sold also. It works perfectly with PWA. You know, so it's like it's more mature, I would say. Because of those, we learned from it a lot.
I think that is a big difference. That I mean, our platform already exists for a couple of years. We have some shops running on it live, and not just Magento shops. We also have shops running on it with over 7 million products there, and they're running fine. They're running fast. They have been submitted to very high traffic, very high sales orders and stuff. And at the moment, we have a fully ready solution, so you can just make a full website with it. You don't need anything else. You can just start it running. Also, our community is very different. We're working at the moment with partners. We're not fully open source yet. The way Vue we started as open source, we started as closed. We're working at the moment with a lot of partners to start refactoring the code, making it good, fixing some last things, and making sure that the quality is high enough to start sharing it with you. But not only the quality, also that we are ready to answer all your questions, have the documentations ready, etc. And our partners are very well known in the Magento community, and with them we're working together.
So, with Vue, and that is one of the things I noticed that they seem to be doing, and I haven't examined the architecture, and I definitely don't speak for them, but with the Vue storefront, their goal is to make it platform agnostic, in that it does not matter what e-commerce platform you are leveraging, and how they appear to have accomplished that is that Elasticsearch middleware. And they leverage the Elasticsearch integrations with the platform, and then they pull a lot of their product data from Elasticsearch. So you're saying that in Deity, you actually integrate directly with each of the platforms you're servicing?
So the difference is that we have a middleware as well. Okay, so we are backend agnostic. Actually, we are working hard on bringing Magento 1 projects on Deity.
Yeah, and we are at the moment moving to Magento 1. Yeah.
Yeah, we have first really interested customers with big shops. Yeah, thinking about moving there. And the thing is that our middleware doesn't really hold any data. So it's just abstraction. Okay, so we use GraphQL for it, like Magento want. And then it's just, as a backend developer, you just see GraphQL schema, you just see all the queries, and you integrate your stuff with it. Either Shopify, Magento 1, Magento 2, whatever. So, but there's no data being persisted. It means we enforce backend to be fast enough to be directly integrated. By directly, I mean all the requests are on the fly, so there is no problem with data consistency. Okay. We have some caching, but it's not Elasticsearch. I'm just not so sure if Elasticsearch, being a search engine, is really the best choice for the middleware. I really like GraphQL idea, for example, to use it in this place.
So your GraphQL, go ahead. Go ahead, Jen.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, our whole middleware is running on the Node.js. So we do have implementations with Elasticsearch running at the moment, and they're working fine, but we are indeed the same, platform agnostic. It doesn't matter what you want or what you use, and even what kind of data you give to us. We're building a data integrator as well, which you can just send us any data from you want, and we can easily, with some drag and drop system, connect it to the data we need to be able to use everything there.
Okay, one of the questions I have, and when you go with this platform agnostic approach, and you're trying to build it to where it works with any e-commerce platform or non-e-commerce platform for that matter, one of my concerns is that every one of these platforms has a benefit. They have something that's special about them. They have something that is basically their core competency, and Magento's is flexibility. So my concern is, do you lose the specialness of each platform if you build for the lowest common denominator of every platform? And basically what you end up doing is, if you're successful and your front end completely works across all of these platforms, aren't you effectively building half of your own e-commerce platform? and instead of leveraging the benefits of Magento or the community, and by that I mean do modules work? How are those implemented? Will I have to completely rewrite the front end for a module, and so I lose the community aspect, or at least a lot of the community aspect of Magento? Or if a new upgrade comes out or a new feature comes out in Magento Core, do I not have access to that unless I write the front end for it? Those are the big concerns with going with that whole agnostic approach. So what are your thoughts around that?
I think
yeah. Jamie, go. You're
okay.
first.
Good. I think to jump into the subject of extensions and modules, we're at the moment working with some very high skilled guys from the extension world, and it's something I cannot officially announce yet, and I will not, even not now while drinking wine. But we're working with some very, very smart people there together and figuring out how we're gonna really do this, and how we're gonna be able to implement modules and make them compatible with these kind of front ends. And that's first of all what we're working on. Looking at the platform agnostic and making sure that you can use the good things from each shop, and it's basically something we're enhancing by doing this. Because what I already explained in the beginning, our very first project started like this. We needed to build a shop which was able to do both content and web shop. And Magento is great for web shop, but it's not the best for the content. So we looked for another solution. And instead of trying to build some kind of weird module and I don't know what kind of stuff inside Magento to be able to do really good content, we decided to use the best of each platform. So we just cherry picked, hey, this platform is good for that, and this platform is good for that, and we started building that. On top of this, you can then also expand your Magento solutions for when your shop, for example, grows very big. When a shop goes very big, they need to do kind of things. They need to maybe build stock managers, they need to build order managers, this kind of things. And at that moment, they either have to leave Magento or they have to really start building some very excessive work in there, which brings a lot of high maintenance costs and also a lot of trouble. But in this solution, you can just separate that and build these kind of things you need, either get it from another service or build it yourself as a microservice while still keeping the benefits of the Magento.
Yeah. So so other way around, I'm just I was running the Magento agency for 7 years, so I've seen many different problems. And one of the things is that even if you say you're using Magento for an e-commerce website, then in the end it turns out that you're using many different things inside, and you have to really integrate them. Like for example, ERP. There are many of the customers, they don't really use back office of Magento to enter product data. They use payment gateways, of course. They outsource the search because, for example, Algolia is the fastest search on earth, so you cannot really build this in-house, or Magento cannot. You want to get WordPress, right? So you try to integrate some content management system in the Magento. So it's basically you're already doing it in Magento, in PHP, but my opinion is that the PHP and Magento isn't the best tool to really integrate things. So that's why we came with the idea of integrating it on a front-end level.
First of all, Jamie, it's really early, so don't say you're not going to be revealing secrets while drinking wine.
Oh, I'm not gonna.
A few glasses from now, we may find out. I don't know. But we did have a question in the chat here. Andrew asked, it was mentioned that the Deity solution was used during Black Friday. Are you able to provide any numbers? Do you have any estimates around what the peak traffic looked like on that?
The only thing I can say, it was few hundred orders per hour, let's say. So it's not really that much, but it's just there was no issues at all. I mean, it was just server was bored and there was no CPU peaks and so on. It was just business as usual. And we have this project that was under traffic from commercials, radio commercials, I think, Jamie.
Yeah. It was on and this one was tested before as well with very, very high peak. We worked together with some guys from AWS team, and they're really, really tried to kill it. And the only thing that happened, you saw no peaks on the front end. The front end was absolutely no problem. The only peaks we saw actually was that Elasticsearch at some point had some trouble with trying to return the data. But there was absolutely nothing. I mean, Elasticsearch broke before even the front end even sneezed.
Yeah.
I think the big story is, did you just say people are still buying radio ads?
Yes, people are still doing that. Yeah, and it works. It works.
Actually, one of the customer, they buying the newspaper ads.
Yeah, that's true.
For
we have even
for
one
an e-commerce website, and it works like charm. They are making a lot of money on it because it's just their customers are reading newspapers. It's nothing really bad about that, you know.
Yeah, as long as you know your customer, you're good to go, right?
Yeah,
true. Very true.
Cool. So I think that's all the questions in the chat at this point. You said a couple of hundred orders an hour. Is that the number you said?
Yeah. It's not really impressive, but it's
So with a couple of hundred orders an hour, I mean that's a decent size site depending on the average order value. Definitely enterprise level site. So with all of these React front ends or with all these JavaScript front ends that are separate from Magento, one of the great things about Magento is you can install it. It's not a SaaS platform, but you can install it. You can throw a theme up. You can buy a theme. You can be, with a little bit of technical knowledge, you can have the website set up moderately cost effectively on the open source version. And so, the concern, and Magento's moving further and further up market. They're getting more and more enterprise level, really big, large organizations on the platform. So the thought is with the smaller merchants and PWA becoming pretty much the default standard of what a website expectations are in the short-term future, how does your solution stack up cost-wise now and potentially in the future versus Magento currently with an HTML theme? Like if I'm going to install it with a base theme, if I'm just going to run the Luma theme and I'm just going to run your default look and feel, or on the flip side of that, if I'm going to do a full custom Magento theme versus a fully customized version of your solution, how do those costs look?
I think it's very it's pretty easy to see. I think the highest profit, the highest gain you have in terms of the maintenance and especially the performance optimization. If you look at just a basic Magento, you install, you put up some products there and you have the Magento 2 running, it's not the fastest solution in the world. And while when you set up the Deity front end just as the standard, for example, our demo shop, it's done in a couple of, I think, 150 hours. It has been fully built, and then it's extremely fast from there. And you don't have to start optimizing the performance. And we've seen many real just Magento 2 shops coming out, and the people are spending a lot of money building it. They have it, they go live, and they're slow. And this is when they have to start reinvesting and even putting in more money to make it fast. And and this is something you don't have to do with Deity. And now with the solution we have now, we can just build one store after the other in a very fast and easy way. If you have new functionalities which don't exist yet on the project, we have to add them. This is costing a little bit more time than what would standard with Magento 2. But as soon as we have them, we can start reusing them, and it's no problem at all anymore.
Yeah, I think there's going to be obviously some additional costs. Anytime you have to integrate another technology or install another module or install another theme, that alone is more costs. But I think it's a very good point that if those costs are reasonable, and reasonable when it comes to money is a very relative term depending on the business and the value you're getting from whatever you're spending that money on. But if those costs are reasonable, then I think the benefits are there from a performance standpoint. So that's a very good point. Yeah. We did have another question. We are talking progressive web apps and PWAs. So we had a question in the chat about PWA Studio, which we probably won't be able to answer. PWA Studio is a Magento initiative, and we've got Andrew in the chat that's addressing that question. I think, and I'm guessing, this is just a complete and total guess, but if I were a betting man, and I may be from time to time, my last name is Gamble, but if I were a betting man, I would bet that PWA Studio beta or early releases will be available sometime in late April, probably at Imagine. That would be a very nice announcement. The timeline seems to link up. I'm not sure that PWA Studio is going to be everything that a lot of people expect it to be. I expect it to be steps in the right direction, but not a fully capable. It's not a PWA theme. It's not Deity. It's not View Storefront. It's going to be the tooling and things needed to build your own, with maybe a little more fleshing out to follow after that. But again, I'm just guessing. Andrew might comment on that. I don't know if you guys have any more insight. You're working in the PWA space a lot more than I am. I just talk about it on YouTube. So I don't know if you have any more info on PWA Studio or when that might be coming out or what that might look like.
I think what might be a good idea is for people to check the videos which were made at ReactCon. They're out now this week, and this is where James and Andrew are talking about this.
There's a James already, so
yeah, James just joined this. Just joined it, yeah. Yeah, so I think it's good. There is a little bit more information there. For the rest, I don't know. There's nothing I can say. I mean, we should ask James and Andrew.
Yeah, James has made. I believe that is a no comment there in the chat. So I guess you'll just have to show up at Imagine and find out, or stay at home and find out on Twitter. If you can't make it. But I'm excited for PWAs. I'm excited for PWAs in general. Anything that makes that big of a performance impact, I'm just excited about, and I would love to have the PWA Studio folks on. I don't know if y'all want to do it before Imagine or after Imagine. Maybe you could come on and talk about it or show a little bit. Always welcome to join in. So I guess, as far as the PWA Studio, how do you see that? Does that affect what you're doing at all? Is that coming out that's something you think is going to help your effort, or is it just no impact whatsoever?
So we spent during ReactCon, I spent like few hours with James and Andrew. So we talked because our stack is the same. It's React, GraphQL, and so on. So Magento just didn't accept Node in this, so I'm just trying to do some advertisement for James. So we are actually talking about how we can cooperate, because for example, the Magento is really focused on extensions and how extensions can easily change the UI without any developer effort. So yeah, I just said if they do it right, we'll be really glad to use it. So so we just watched this one. Magento works on GraphQL implementation in Magento itself, and if the schema is similar, then actually it's easy to use either Deity components with Magento or other way around. Magento components with our frontend, which you can imagine even that we connect Shopify and then we use actually Magento components, which is like, maybe it brings even more confusion for people, but it's possible. So it's just fun, as you can see. JavaScript is fun. So we are actually really trying to cooperate, because I think guys are doing really great job on tooling for extensions. They are really working on long-term architecture for this. So yeah, I'm really open for using their stuff.
That's an interesting point I hadn't thought about as well, is that, I kind of harped on the, losing some of the uniqueness of Magento by making it kind of platform agnostic. But on the flip side of that, if you've got a really efficient way of getting data in and out of Magento, then we have Deity components that Magento doesn't have, and you just plug it right into your theme, and you don't really need to change the back end at all. It just kind of plugs in, uses GraphQL or whatever mechanisms are there to add functionality without actually having to change the back end of your store.
Correct.
Yeah. During ReactCon, I shown actually the funny stuff with GraphQL. We actually run GraphQL queries because they on Vue storefront and front commerce, they are using the same products from Luma. So I just run the GraphQL query from Deity that is fetching the stocks from a Vue storefront and front commerce in the same query.
So basically, we were from our Deity platform, getting the data from Vue and front commerce live on stage. Really, really easy, super fast to do it. And pretty funny too, right? To track the information from your competitors. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, and one thing about GraphQL is that GraphQL is they're finishing merging remote schema, which sounds really difficult. But basically, the idea is that you can have your graph and then import the whole API from Google, YouTube, Twitter, and so on, and then just work with it without really much of the effort. You can integrate tweets on product level, you name it. So it's really cool idea, and I think it will change the way we do web development.
Yeah, I think we're gonna, and I was kind of asking for topics a couple of weeks ago, and GraphQL seems to be something that a lot of people are interested in, and how that's going to change the Magento landscape. I think I'm going to pull together some people that know a lot more about it than I do, and I'm going to sit here and drink and listen to them ramble about it.
Yeah, I mean, we were very willing to be a part of that again.
Awesome. We did have a question here in the chat asking if someone from Deity will be present at Imagine.
Yes, that will be me. I will be together with James, as he also replied, be on the PWA panel. So you can ask me anything about it then.
So we can ask you anything at the PWA panel?
Anything about Deity and PWA? I mean, maybe something about Magento as well, yeah.
Okay. And that's one of the breakout sessions at Imagine, I assume?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Do you guys have a booth? Or, I mean, I'm sure you'll be wearing Deity gear. If anybody's at Imagine, they can just grab you in the hallway and ask questions.
Yeah, definitely. I will be wearing gear. I will bring stickers. Might bring even T-shirts if it's possible logistically. So grab me and talk to me, and I have everything you need.
Great. I need stickers. You see the fridge? I'm working on the third layer of stickers on the fridge there. So
really nice.
I got to get some. Good. And we also had a question here that James is getting to. Thank you, James. Sometimes the chat, people don't see the chat, so I want to make sure we address them on the video, even though James is taking care of them on chat. Do appreciate those answers. Just asking if the ReactCon videos will be on YouTube or are on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, as far as I know, Yirio is sharing them. For the people who have been attended, they can see them for free, and the people who didn't, there's a small fee for that. That's just to really get some value still for the people visiting to the conferences. So ask him, hit him up, look at his website. It will probably be there somewhere.
We had an interesting comment here. I don't know what the hell he's talking about, but I do appreciate the comments. You know, he mentioned that, and this is Artadoo has mentioned that you've used. Again, I'm from the Southern United States. Pronunciation's not my thing, but I'm going to go with you've used Aristotelian nomenclature in a Neoplatonic context.
So actually, I can explain that. I mean, not the content, because nobody can. Yeah, but basically that's Arthur from the core team, from Deity, And he happens to be a PhD in philosophy as well.
Oh, Lord.
So actually, he was at the ReactCon, and Jane was doing this presentation. How you would describe it, Jamie?
With a lot of references to philosophical context.
Yes. And Arthur had really deep knowledge about the matter. So, but he didn't ask any questions, which is a shame. But I see that right now he's trying to get it back. So.
Yeah, and I see James is replying to that too. So that's nice.
So back to PW. We're not. This is not a philosophy live stream. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be lost. I mean, if we want to talk about it, I'm cool with that. I'll just keep the drinking, but I'm not going to provide any value to that conversation whatsoever. None.
No,
so,
me neither. So we're good.
As far as Deity, I want to say Magento. If you just installed Magento and you threw up the Luma theme and the default content, you're going to get somewhere just above 1 second average page load times. Just right in there on average. And of course, that's very much determined by caching and server configuration and all that. That's just some kind of baseline metrics. What are you seeing with your offering kind of as an average page load time?
Well, I think first of all, our solution is a single page application, and while the first load time might be similar or maybe a little bit different, but after that everything is just there. The content, it's instant. It's the page transitions, all the things happening as fast as native. And we had some, when we brought our demo, we had some peaks of 25 milliseconds. These were our peaks. This is the moment when someone added something to the cart. You could see this on the new relic happening, and that was basically it. So it's not really, you're not talking anymore more about load time of pages, because pages are not getting reloaded. You have a single page application there.
Yeah, and definitely, for those that may not understand, technically, React uses components, and once a component is loaded on the page, if properly done, that component stays on the page, and then it just reloads or changes components as needed to display whatever you're using on the page. So when I'm asking about page load time, it's really more that interactivity, right? Like your header will stay there. You can do transitions. Some of the things that I've seen with progressive web apps are really crazy as to how they, even if they have a slow load time because they're pulling some data, they can dazzle you with all of the little gadgets and transitions and things to make it seem like it was instantaneous, even if it took a second. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, this is something we're seeing, and we're even seeing that the website is sometimes too fast. We have a customer on which we're building some debounds on it because people were not seeing that something was happening, and we saw that people were re-clicking the same button, and we were figuring out why they're doing it. But it showed up that people just didn't see that something happened, so they were clicking it, and then they were like, oh, it was already there. So this is when there's a whole new kind of level of user experience design, and people can really start building very cool micro transitions. And yeah, it's really fun to explore this new world and this new kind of opportunities.
Nice. So what's coming up for Deity? I mean, is there anything big that's planned that you can talk about that you're working on that maybe is not out there right now or is not available?
I think the first thing we can talk about is that we're expanding our community and our partnership rapidly. We will be soon. I think I have at the moment 6 new partners to announce soon. So keep an eye on our Twitter and you will see what's going to happen there. So that's pretty cool. I mean, the biggest thing obviously happened today. This is when iOS, made the note that's launching the PWAs are available in the Safari on the iOS. Obviously, there's some things which are available and some things which are still not available. But yeah, it's pretty. This is really cool and very big for us. This is something we've been hearing for over 2 years. People asking us, hey, why are you doing it? Because iOS is not doing it. It's not allowing it. So this is pretty big for us. And for the rest, soon we will have our GraphQL implementation there fully. Some other cool stuff coming up. But in the end, I mean, the biggest news will be the moment when we open source, right? So this is something we will all see quite soon, let's say.
Yeah.
So with partners, what are you looking for? I mean, you're onboarding partners, but what kind of cooperation, what kind of partners are you looking for? What value are you looking for them to bring to the team? What are you trying to do to flesh out that partner program?
We're at the moment really looking into for partners who have either very, very deep knowledge of Magento or eCommerce or any kind of other systems, the ones we're using. And we're also cooperating together with partners who have some specialties which we don't have. And I think that is the most important one. We're not looking for people who can do what we can do. I mean, of course, these are always welcome, but we're really looking for partners who are specialists in some things we are not specialized in, and this is really helping and bringing the effort forward, because then we can discuss about the topics, hear different opinions about it, and really bring it to the next level.
So are you looking for partners to help contribute code? Is that kind of, hey, if I'm looking for a GraphQL expert, company or somebody like that can help improve our GraphQL offering, is that kind of, sum up what you're looking for?
Yeah. Not only contribution of code, we're also looking for different kind of contributions. We're just looking for very smart and innovative people, really people who think further and who can bring something to the team. This might not always be code. This might also be, for example, documentations, trainings, or any kind of other things there.
Nice. So, you've got, let's see, keep your questions coming in the chat. I think we've touched on every question we've gotten so far. So, if anything comes up, there's anything else you want to know, while we've got them on the line, we typically go somewhere between we schedule these for an hour. They usually go an hour to an hour and a half. So we're coming up on, or a little past 40 minutes at this point. So be sure to get those questions in so I can get them addressed. While you're here, you might as well go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's kind of the only feedback I get. A little self-serving to ask for the subscribe, but might as well while I'm here, right? No shame. There's no shame in this game whatsoever. So, Imagine, is this your first? Are both of you coming to Imagine, or?
No, it's me. Unfortunately, Michał is not there this year, and it's my first time Imagine, my first time Vegas too, and yeah, I'm very honored to be a part of it.
It's going to be interesting. Imagine is always a good time for anyone that has not been. I highly recommend you make that investment and you get out there. Sorry, Michał, that you're not going to be able to make it.
Yeah. Some people have if I want to go to Vegas, really.
Some people have to stay and do the work and earn money.
Yeah, of course.
While we, get to go play in Vegas.
I mean, we need to get live soon, right? With our open source solution. Someone has to build it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm the same way. Like, somebody has to make money and earn what I'm going to spend while I'm in Vegas. Like, this is just how the world works, right? It's it's cooperation. James asked a question here in the chat, wondering if you had experimented with React Suspense.
Yeah, so I heard about the idea. It's that you can actually prioritize what is rendered. Because, for example, we had an issue that's actually funny stuff. With Algolia, the average response time is about 40 milliseconds for a search with facets. 40 milliseconds with facets. Really, like, big one megabyte of JSON. And it's actually the problem is that the front end, even Shadow DOM, cannot really update the UI that fast. And if you do search as you type, you may get the results every 40 milliseconds. Then basically you have 40 milliseconds to render the results, because you will get the new ones, right? So this may help, for example, but this is like a rocket science basically right now for us. Yeah, but I like the idea that they are really giving you the possibility to actually prioritize what you want to render first.
So is that? I mean, that's basically what it is. Is it's a tool to help you prioritize which components are going to render?
Yeah. More or less. Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're getting into some deep technical talk that,
Yeah.
I'm not a React developer.
Doing my best.
Jump in, go ahead. I mean, like I said, we can go as in depth. This is definitely a technical audience. We definitely have mostly devs that watch this live stream, and so not too many merchants are going to sit here for an hour on a Friday afternoon or evening and watch us ramble on about progressive web apps. There're just not too many merchants that are into that kind of thing.
No, they should be doing it. I mean, it's coming, and they should be knowing what is ahead of them.
Yeah, they just want the baby, not the labor pains, though.
That's definitely true. Oh, I think we have a merchant there. Someone is complaining.
David Nettleton, who is an alumni, I guess. I don't a former guest of the eCommerceaholic live stream here. So he is one merchant. He sells really fancy coffee things that I still need to get. This is my coffee right here. So it's simple. You just pour it in a glass. I don't need like a meth lab to make coffee. David Nettleton. Apparently he's not too upset with me. He was on the live stream, and his first name is what's your first name? Is it Dennis? Was that right? It was his initials it's D David Nettleton. So I called him David the whole live stream. But he seemed to be okay with it. So let's talk about a few waves that you made, Jamie, in the Magento Hat Monday. Let's touch on that for a minute while I have you here. And for those that may not know, we had Magento Hat Monday, which I think was an initiative by Danielle Mundial from the user experience team at Magento, and I think Rebecca Brockton had something to do with that. And they just like, hey, post Magento selfie, post a selfie, Magento Hat Monday, hashtag it. And you had a very interesting photo and hat that I will let you show and talk about.
Well, the thing was that I needed to find like a hat and need to find the picture of me with a hat, and so I found a picture of me with a hat, and it's one of my favorite hats. And apparently I should have thought about the fact that I might have some US audience at that moment. And I mean, I'm Dutch, and we're a little bit different maybe with this kind of approach. But yeah, I had a hat, and I took the picture and I posted it, and I got some likes on it and some retweets. And before I knew it, I was in one of the talks. And you even named one of the talks after me because there was something very interesting on my hat, and I actually have it here. So basically on my hat it says cocaine and caviar. Yeah, it was pretty topic there. But Danielle, last week, she had a really good suggestion, and to change this into commerce and caviar. I'm very, very open for that. I think it would be amazing to have these kind of hats saying commerce and caviar.
So we're debating on commerce and caviar or cocaine and commerce. Yeah. Not really sure which one's going to play. Just keep in mind, viewers, that Jamie is in the Netherlands, and they're a little more liberal than a lot of places around the world. So, it obviously she didn't even think it was a big deal, right? You're like, this is just a hat I have, no problem.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a big deal at all. It's actually a brand here. It's a brand. It's just a clothes. They have t-shirts, they have hats, they have snapbacks, they have all this stuff happening. So it's totally not a big deal, yeah. But yeah, my worldwide audience at that moment found it more interesting, and I think it was pretty funny actually.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, anything that makes news, right? All news is good news. I think they say. So
I think I think James has a very good point there.
Yeah, you don't do them at the same time.
I don't. I'm not sure if I can answer that question, right? If I can give a comment on that.
No comment. No comment. You're going to have a lot of fun in Vegas. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm going to bring the hat, even though it's really, really warm there. I'm just going to bring it and I'm going to wear it.
Wear it down the strip at Vegas and see what kind of questions you get asked.
I will do that.
Fantastic. Any other questions in the chat? Again, go ahead and post them. We've got at least 10 more minutes here before we call it a day, call it an evening. It is beautiful, beautiful weather here today in sunny Alabama. So I'm gonna go out to the farm and I am going to probably drink some more of this bottle after I hit the gym and train for the big damn run, of course. Or Jamie, you're going to be at Imagine, or are you going to be in the big damn run? You training for the 5K?
No, I'm not training for the 5K. Unfortunately, I am going to be in Imagine. I'm not going to run. I love heels, so I need to spread my feet to wear heels. I'm not going to ruin them on running on sneakers. That's not going to work. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to run.
Understand. I don't usually run. I'll probably walk more than I run, to be honest with you. But we'll see. I'm halfway through the program, so maybe by the time I get there,
I will come and cheer for you.
Okay, that's that. You could do the big dam tour, the Hoover Dam there. There's some people will do the tour, some people will walk, some people will run, some people will continue running. I don't 10K just doesn't sound real entertaining to me at this point.
No, I really have a lot of respect for the people who are doing that.
That's cool. I mean, things like that are one of the things that's so interesting about the Magento community is that there are always little side events like that popping up around any official event. So, you have that, and you have the hackathon, and then you have the run, and Pre-Imagine is a community sponsored event. And I think a lot of those things, a lot of those little side events are what make this community so entertaining and so welcoming to people.
Yeah. I really love that about the community. When I first started working with Magento, this was about, I think, 6 years ago, something like that, 5 years ago. I really, the first thing I noticed was the community, and not just, what's happening online and all the questions which were there, which I could get help for, but really the people. And I started to meet the people. I started going to events, and I really fell in love with this. And I think this for me is one of the biggest part why I so much love Magento. It's really about the community and about the people I met over the years, and I'm still meeting every day.
All right, I got one more question. I'm gonna clear up something though with David. His first name is Daniel. That's right. I should have known that because on Twitter he's Daniel, or no, his handle is David, but his name is Daniel. That's actually what started that conversation. But Philip in the chat asked if you are planning MIT license along with open sourcing your project.
About the licensing, we're figuring out still what is the best solution. Probably yes, but yeah, I'm not the best lawyer in that to ask what is the best solution for that. But most likely yes, and we will soon obviously tell you as soon as we open source.
Now, are you planning on, is the long-term model to open source everything, or are you trying to open source the core project with some sort of revenue model from it long-term?
I mean, at the end of the day, we also still need to pay our salaries, right? So we need to make some money at some point, but we do believe in community, and we do believe that open source always wins, and we were planning to fully open source. And there might be, maybe some interesting things which will not be, but these will be very expert things, which will be really enterprise level kind of stuff, which also need a lot of implementation there. Yeah, but if I look at it, I mean, our business model is mainly doing the implementations, being the experts on this, and being able to really build at the moment very fast PWA shops. If you want your shop to be a PWA and headless fast solution, I mean, we are the guys you're gonna have to contact, and we will build it for you very fast.
We had one other question here as well. Nar in the chat asked, how does one become a partner of Deity? Who do they reach out to? Where can they find out more information about partnership?
They can contact me. That's basically it. Send me a message, send me a direct message on Twitter, find me on LinkedIn, find me in one of the Magento Slack channels, and we can have a talk. We can talk about, you know, what you do. We will talk about what we are doing, see if our goals match, see if we can, you know, have a good match also in terms of people, in terms of goals, in terms of planning and time, and then we can figure it out. Basically, we're very easy in that. We're very open in that, and we're really looking for the best people to join us. So please reach out, give me a shout out, and we'll be in contact.
What's your Twitter handle?
Jamie Maria S. But you can also go to Deity_PWA. It's also me. So I'm on both.
That's your incognito.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
your kind of secret identity. So any other questions, guys? We're running up on the clock here. You know, we've got at least 5 minutes left. So get in any of those final questions while you're at it. Be happy to try to get those answered. So anything else? I mean, other than the Deity PWA, which is enough, by the way. I mean, that is a lot of work. Anything interesting y'all have going on? Any cool things you're working with? Anything new in Magento that you're really excited about, except perhaps GraphQL, which, you know, everybody's excited about, I think.
Me, how?
Yeah, well, so I'm not really going to imagine, but yeah, I would be really happy to see the Magento headquarters, I guess. Never been to Texas. So I've been to New York, and Andrew said to me that it's not really a real US experience. So I guess middle of Texas is the perfect place to visit and experience the real US people.
Well, middle of Texas is. I'm not sure Austin, though.
Yeah, it's probably the more like a big city, so it's not really
closer. It's closer to the U.S. than Vegas is, but it's still Austin's a fun town. You'll enjoy it. It's going to be warm. Texas is a very hot place, but their headquarters are, well, I don't think it's the headquarters, but their offices there in Austin are very nice. I was there a few weeks ago. It's a really nice office place. The whole area, they've got they're in this, it's kind of this live, work, play. And so they've got all of these apartments, and then they've got office spaces. And then right next door is like this whole entertainment and shopping district. I would not do well in that environment with so many awesome restaurants and drinking establishments right next door.
Sounds like fun to me.
Yeah, it's fun. It just wouldn't be good for me on a day-to-day basis. So we also have Meet Magento Netherlands coming up over your way. I'm assuming both of you will be at that.
Yeah, and not just the two of us. I think we will be there with our full team. So yeah, we will be there. We will be next week. I will be also in the Mage Titans in Italy, just before going to Vegas. So we can find us there. We will also visit some outside Magento events. For example, Enter GS in the Frankfurt. This is really a JavaScript conference. So you can find us there. Maybe in the meantime, we will organize some hackathon or some other kind of days together in other places in Europe as well, where you can find us and work with our product and ask us any questions. Yeah, so you can find us, and you can find us online always.
Fantastic. And I'm going to be official announcement. I am going to Meet Magento Netherlands. I'm about to book my plane travel and get all of that squared away this weekend. So I will be there. First time in the Netherlands. Actually, my first time outside of the U.S. So
really?
Yes. I have a passport. It is pristine, untouched, and I'm going to get some use out of it.
Oh, that's really nice. Well, you're very welcome. I mean, I have whiskey in the back of me, which is just for decoration. So you're very welcome to come and yeah, I'm very happy that you're coming. Your first time outside US is going to be the Netherlands. I think we had also a newbie last week, Andrew. He was also for the very first time outside the US, immediately in the Netherlands. So I think he enjoyed it. So I'm pretty sure you will as well.
Where are your offices located?
It's in Eindhoven. It's about it's in the middle of the Netherlands, a little bit on the south side. It's about 1 hour from Utrecht, where the Meet Magento Netherlands event will be.
I'm
1 hour.
told I'm told I'm supposed to be going to look at tulips while I'm over there. I don't. I'm not a huge tulip fan, but
oh, tulip. Oh,
yeah,
you
tulips.
can. Yeah, you can go to the fields, right? But to be honest, I'm living in the Netherlands, and I've never been to the tulip fields.
So it's not that big of a deal, right?
No, I mean you can buy tulips everywhere, right? They're everywhere.
Nice.
Just make sure you eat some stroopwafels and some cheese, and you're good.
What was that? Eat what and cheese?
Stroopwafels.
Oh yes. Yeah. I hear about them. Everybody who goes, that done. We're going to do that. Let me write that down somewhere. I'll make a note. Make sure that gets accomplished.
Yeah, definitely try it.
So what else though? What do I need to do while I'm now I'm bringing my wife. We've been married this year 20 years. And so this is going to be, I'm trying to figure out a way to take a big trip as a tax deduction, right? And this just seemed like a perfect idea. So I'm going to bring her and we're going to fly into Amsterdam and then we're going to be there. I think we've got about 7 or 8, maybe even a little longer. It looks like, we've got the conference obviously, and I've got to be there the day before. But it looks like we're going to have about 9 days in Amsterdam and, or the surrounding areas wherever we go. What do I absolutely must do?
Well, Amsterdam has 2 different phases, right? So you should get on a bike. That's something you should do. I think that's fun. That's going to be a very nice experience. You should visit. I mean, we have some nice museums, really nice ones. But yeah, Amsterdam also has a different side, right? You can wear my,
like Vegas, right?
Let's say you can wear my hat going there. So yeah, so I mean, but definitely give that a try to it. It's nice, and just have a look at the people at the area. There's a lot of the fun things to do. If you need some more tips, just hit me up. I can send you some nice places to go. But yeah, definitely visit the Rijksmuseum, and get yourself on a bike. That's fun.
Okay, so a bike and museums and stroopwafels, is that?
Stroopwafels, yes, definitely.
Okay.
And bitterballen.
All right, you're gonna have to write that one down.
I know. Little croquette balls, and they're really nice. They're fried and they're extremely nice. It's very Dutch too.
Okay, nice. Well, I think we'll call it a day. Get an early, for me, an early start. I know it's late for you. I definitely appreciate your time. Appreciate you being on the live stream. You are welcome back anytime. And I will see. I'll at least see you, Jamie, at Imagine.
Yeah.
And I'll see you, Michal, at Meet Magento.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for having us.
Okay. Thanks for being on. I appreciate it. So be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're still watching this long. I mean, we've been going for an hour. Freaking subscribe to the page. Might as well. And I look forward to seeing you guys next Friday on the next video. I'm not really sure what the topic's going to be, but we will scratch something together, and I'll talk to you Friday.
See you.